So hot off the presses, this is Judge McAfee's ruling in the Georgia election interference case involving Donald Trump and others. To get to the heart of the matter, they've objected to the sufficiency of the indictment against them. When you are charged with a crime, whether it's in Georgia or any state, or if you're charged federally, you are entitled to know the specific act that you did that is illegal. And the objection here is that the indictment was not sufficient in that case. To get the heart of the court's rationale here is really in these paragraphs on page 6. If you want to read the ruling, and I urge you to do so. If you have not been to law school, it might look tricky to read something like this because you'll see all these things in like italics with numbers. Those are just like citations to the case. You can virtually ignore that and just kind of read the regular sentences, and the opinion will flow quite nicely. So what the court is saying here is saying that these officials, or rather the defendants, solicited the officials to violate their oaths to the Georgia Constitution and the United States Constitution is just too vague. In fact, the court actually says it's generic because of the kind of broadness of what an oath entails, right? So the United States Constitution contains hundreds of clauses, right? You would assume the same for the Georgia case. Now, again, this rationale does not have anything to do with the factual sufficiency of the case against Donald Trump. This does not comment on the evidence at all. In fact, far from it. And if you look in a footnote here, you can see this does not mean the entire case is dismissed. The state may re-indict, supplementing this 6 counts. And so what that is essentially saying is the state can amend this indictment and essentially fix the deficiency that it contains. And in fact, in the second paragraph of the footnote, the court kind of comments how easily this is done in the federal system, but it's a little bit more difficult in Georgia. So they may need to reconvene the grand jury that they already had, or get a new grand jury and then amend the indictment. And that can take some time and could postpone the case. So these prosecutors are going to have to make a decision about whether or not to just kind of roll with what they have or fix this. I think given the significance of these charges, they will probably fix it. I think that would be the right thing to do. This should be about the last election, not that there's an upcoming election. And just to remind you guys about the highlights of that, a lot of it centers on this call. And forget what's highlighted here. We all have heard this quote. All I want to do is this. I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is more than one we have. Now, putting my defense attorney cap on, I don't think that's the worst statement he made. I think this statement in blue is the worst statement that he made. Because if I was Trump's lawyer, I would rationalize this statement about the 11,780 votes like this. There was so much fraud in the election that all he was asking them to do is, look, you got hundreds of thousands of fraudulent votes. Just find me this many and we're good to go. Okay? I'm not saying I agree with that, but that is a colorable argument, as we lawyers like to say. Now, this is what I think is much more treacherous and much worse. The people of Georgia are angry, and the people in the country are angry. And there's nothing wrong with saying, you know, that you recalculated. Right there, he's simply asking Raffensperger, this, elected official, to just simply change the result of the election. Just come on out and say, hey guys, we have recalculated the votes and here's the new number. And that has nothing to do with, finding new votes like he says there, or uncovering some sort of fraud. He's just really saying, like, come on guys, like, are we on the same team or what? Give me the votes. And that's why I think, for one, that this comment should get highlighted more, but that's why I think, his goose is cooked in this case. Please leave a comment if you want me to talk about any other parts of these criminal cases or the election, or if you want to make fun of this video or insult me. Thank you.